Hi guys, and welcome to the Sunderland vs Bristol Rovers match preview. Now this is the first preview of the League One season for Sunderland's League One season, of course. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm so excited. But in saying that, at the same time, the closer we get to Saturday, the nerves are really starting to set in now because, of course, we've managed to build a little bit of momentum. We've got a 100% record in our short pre-season, our very short pre-season. Then, of course, we did get knocked out against Hull of the in the Carabao Cup in the game which we should have won, which we mentioned before. But there was a lot of positives to take from that game. We lost on penalties, of course. Then just a couple of nights ago, we did take on Aston Villa's kids, basically, and won by 8-1. But whoever you play against, to score 8 goals, it's going to send you west a little bit, isn't it? It's going to play in your mind that we're going to be doing that week in, week out, which of course we're not, but it's always nice to see your team score that amount of goals. So we're going into this game full of confidence. It seems as though the lads are gelling together, the new signings are bedding in, and there's a couple of new signings that I think have actually proved to me, or at least proved that they're a lot better than I originally thought they were anyway. For one, I think O'Brien has been brilliant and he's really, really impressed me. One of the standouts as well over the last couple of games. Danny Graham, of course, who I was very, very sceptical about, but even just a little cameo that he had the other night against Aston Villa under-21s, he looked really, really good. And again, yes, they were against kids, but just how sharp he looked, how good he was with his aerial ability, his touches on the ball. He looked very, very good and raring to go. And of course, he got himself a goal as well. So yeah, there's a lot of excitement at the minute, a lot of positivity for me, personally, from my opinion. I don't know about you guys. But anyway, getting into the match preview. So of course, we're going to be taking on Bristol Rovers, who last season, they did finish 14th. In League One, of course, with the points per game and everything. I don't know where they were originally or if they did move around too much, but they did finish around mid-table. But this season, for me, I do think they will be considerably higher. Maybe not contesting sort of solely for the playoffs, but I do think they could be there or thereabouts. I've got a feeling Bristol Rovers might be the sort of dark horse this year. I don't know why, but I just have that feeling. I did actually make a recent appearance on One Rovers Vlogs, which is a Bristol Rovers YouTuber, where I just give my quick opinion of the game and my score prediction as well. So if you fancy it, go and search One Rovers Vlogs and check him out as well. It's a really good match preview for the game. But let's quickly just have a look at Bristol Rovers and their most recent results. Of course, it's only pre-season, but pre-season's important in the sense of a winning mentality. And as for us, of course, in our only 3 pre-season games, we won, and we seem to be taking that momentum in to the next few games. So it is really important to get a winning mentality. But Bristol Rovers, as you'll see in a second, they actually played a couple more pre-season games than us, as did many of the other teams in the league. We were the latest team to start playing pre-season friendlies, which was a worry, which I said at the time, but things seem to have gone okay anyway. At first, they did play Bristol Manor Farm, I've never heard of, but either way, it's a nice little friendly to start with, and they did win by 4-0. Then they welcomed Exeter to the Memorial Stadium, where they did win by 2-1. Then they went away from home to Newport, they drew 1-1. Then they welcomed Forest Green, where they did lose by 4-3. What a game that is, even if it is just a pre-season friendly. Then they went away from home to Cheltenham, where they did win by 2-0. But the last 2 games where it did go competitive, of course, in the Carabao Cup, they took on Ipswich away from home, a team who I think are going to be up there this season in League One, and they lost by 3-0, which is a really, really bad result for them, I guess. But in the last game, they did take on Walsall at home. They drew 2-2 and then lost 4-2 on pens in the EFL Trophy. So quite an inconsistent pre-season for them. I think throughout the pre-season itself, it looked fairly positive. But of course, losing the last 2 games, albeit in cup competitions that not many people care about, it's a loss either way. So with us being up here confidence-wise, they might be a little bit knocked, which I would hope anyway. Of course, maybe not for the rest of the season, but at least when they're playing us, I'd rather us have the upper hand and see what happens there. But for us, of course, I will give you what I believe is, or sort of my preferred starting 11. I actually have 2 sets of starting 11 because if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see I've had an absolute nightmare trying to decide what starting 11 I would go with. But here they are. Here is one of the choices. I'll call them A and B because I don't think one's necessarily better than the other. But here we go anyway. Here is my lineup A. Sounds weird. So as you can see, it is the typical 3-4-3 formation that Parkhurst, or at least what we've been used to seeing from Parkhurst. We have Burge in goal, Jamali, Wright and Willis across the back, Hume, Power, Scowen and O'Nien. Then we have O'Brien and Maguire as the sort of inside forwards behind either Grigg or Graham. Now, to be fair, I just couldn't decide, again, between Grigg or Graham, but I think Grigg will probably get the nod, I would think. But with White scoring a couple of goals the other night, and we know how much Philip Parkinson just adores White for some reason, I've got a feeling White might get the shout. But for me, I would get Grigg in there, because I think with O'Brien and Maguire around him, we could definitely carve out a few chances for Will Grigg. Now, going back to the defence, we have the three there. Jamali, in my opinion, it's probably going to be Flanagan in that position, because Jamali is, admittedly... it was Parkinson who admitted that, Jamali is quite a bit behind in terms of fitness. It was good that he got 90 minutes the other night, and I think he played really well. But for me, I think it will more than likely be Flanagan. But in the future, I think Jamali will more than likely take over Flanagan, I would think, anyway. But that is the first sort of lineup, the sort of lineup A, as I say. I just think that is probably strong enough with Power and Scowen in the middle. It could have easily gone for Dobson in there. But Scowen, I think Scowen's pretty much undroppable at this point. He's looked that good throughout pre-season. Defensively, he's great getting forward. He's great, and his deliveries from set pieces and corners are just second to none. They really are. And with Maguire on the pitch as well, who can also take set pieces, I think there's enough quality there to get us through the game. But we'll go to lineup B, and this is the formation that was used against Aston Villa under-21s the other night, where Hume, or whoever's playing the left wing back or the right wing back, they were almost wingers. They weren't playing the wing back role, but they were pushed a lot further forward. They're not in this sort of graphic here, but you know what I mean. We still remain with Burge in goal, Jamali, Wright and Willis across the back, but again, it'll more than likely be Flanagan in Jamali's position. Now, the thing is with this, of course, Ledbetter did play in that holding role in front of the back three the other night, but I feel like the only reason, of course, Ledbetter did play absolutely fantastically the other night, but I think the only reason he did play so well was because after the sort of opening 10 minutes where Aston Villa were really pushing us and getting in our faces, they kind of just sat back and they allowed Ledbetter to have all the time in the world. And that is when Ledbetter will flourish, and it's his bread and butter, because if Ledbetter has all the time in the world, he can just take his time and pick out those passes that he's so good at. He's one of the best passers we've got. But I can't see Bristol Rovers coming here to try and get a draw and to get a point. I can't see that happening. They'll be right in our faces, I would think, and that's when Ledbetter becomes a bit of a passenger, because he is very easy to get past. Obviously, the other night against the kids, he was a lot better in sort of tackling and his defensive abilities, but generally, that's when Ledbetter can become a little bit of a liability. So I think sitting Dobson in front of that back three would be a lot better. He is capable of a goal himself, but he's an absolute warrior, Dobson, in my opinion, and I think he'd do great just sat in front of that back three. Now, with that three in the middle, it looks quite defensive, but as we saw the other night, if we play it correctly, if you have that one man sat in front of that back three, it allows the other two central midfielders to get forward and really push forward, and then we have so many bodies on the counter-attack, or at least just on the attack in general, because Hume and O'Nien will be bombing down the wings. You've got Power and Scowen who are going to make themselves and push forward and almost an inside forward themselves. And then you've got two strikers either side who can drift out wide or drift inside. And as I say up there, I have put O'Brien and either Grigg or Graham, again, because I just can't choose. I can't choose between the two, but it will probably be, well, you would think or would hope it would be Grigg, because I can't see, in my opinion, I wouldn't want White there personally, but as I said just a moment ago, Parkinson strangely loves him. But with this formation, I really struggle to fit Chris Maguire in. I mean, you could maybe drop one of the strikers and make them a sort of second forward or a sort of number 10 and stick Maguire in, but I prefer Maguire coming in off the wings and being more of an inside forward. I feel like, although I think, technically he should, and logically Maguire should be a great sort of number 10 with his ability, but whenever he has played there just behind the striker, I find that he struggles a little bit. I think he needs that sort of freedom to come in off the wings to get the best out of Chris Maguire. And also you might be thinking, well, where's Gooch? I mean, Gooch the other night, he did play left wing back and he actually was quite solid, but the only argument I have with Hume and Gooch is attacking wise, Hume has this direct running ability that the defenders just can't deal with, particularly in League One. Yes, he can lose the ball every now and then, and his final ball isn't particularly great, but he gets us into absolutely brilliant and dangerous positions, whereas with Gooch, although he can pop up with a moment of magic, and I'm not going to doubt his ability, I just feel like with Gooch, once he gets sussed out once, he's sussed for the whole game, and he can become very, very predictable and almost, again, a passenger. But so for me, I would go with Hume as left wing back. So those are the two sort of, A and B lineups that I would go for. So out of those two, which one would you go for? Would you go for lineup A or lineup B? Or of course, if you have your own, let me know in the comments down below. That'd be really interesting to see. But the moment you've been waiting for, my score predictions. Last season I went on a run straight from the beginning of the season. I think it was the first sort of like 5-6 games where I got the score bang on. So I'm hoping I'm going to have some of that luck again this season. But I think originally I would have thought it would have been a really, really tight game, this one. I would have done. But because my confidence is probably too high, if anything, right now, I'm actually going to go for a Sunderland 3-1 win. I do believe we'll concede at some point throughout the game. But I think in general, I think maybe Bristol Rovers might come out for the opening 10-15 minutes right in our faces. And it'll look like we're going to have a hard day at the office. But once that sort of time settles, I think we'll get control of the ball, we'll make enough chances to win the game, and I'm going to go for Sunderland 3-1 win. I'm not going to do goal scorers because I'm not going to go too far and push my luck. But that'll be it, guys. So let me know, of course, who would you select in your starting 11, what score do you think it's going to be, and all that good stuff. Let me know in the comments down below. But if you have enjoyed this video, please hit the like button for me. It'd be massively, massively appreciated. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already to become a fully fledged member of the Sarny Army. But for now, you take care, stay jamming.